Like the rust definitely shook off as the game went on. How much rust do you feel like is still there right now?
It's not as much rust as it's the endurance. Honestly, you kind of picking and choosing a little bit of your spots to maintain. It's not like you're going 100 miles an hour the whole time and just feeling it out. But after I traveled and got my shot blocked the first two possessions, I kind of settled in nice. You do all the training and scrimmages and all that type of stuff. It's more just getting back familiar with the speed of the game, the physicality, and just embracing it. And that's how the game kind of unfolded for me.
Steph, how did you feel you and Kristaps fit together in your time on the court?
I thought we
or sideline appearances. What if the most powerful thing about her is something she carries in her blood, in her kitchen, and in the way she moves through the world, long before she ever became a household name? Because right now, Ayesha is in Jamaica, and the way she's showing up on that island is telling us everything we need to know about the woman she's always been underneath all the fame. Let's go back to the beginning, because this story doesn't start in Golden State. It doesn't start in an NBA arena or on a red carpet. It starts in Ontario, Canada, in a household that was quietly extraordinary. Ayesha grew up just outside of Toronto, in a suburb that might seem unremarkable on the surface. But inside her home, something deeply rich was always happening. Her mother carries Afro-Jamaican and Chinese-Jamaican heritage. Her father brings African-American and Polish roots into the family tree. From her very first years of life, Ayesha was living inside a beautiful collision of cultures, languages, food traditions, and values that most people spend their whole lives searching for. And out of all of it, it was the Jamaican thread that wrapped around her most tightly. The warmth of it, the resilience woven into it, the way Jamaican culture doesn't separate food from love or community from identity. It all lives together. And for Ayesha, that became the foundation she would build everything else on top of. Think about that for a second. Here is a woman who would go on to write best-selling cookbooks, open her own restaurants, and create a lifestyle brand recognized around the world. And when she talks about where it all comes from, she doesn't point to culinary school. She doesn't name a mentor or a business strategy. She points back to a culture, a heritage, a place that shaped how she understands nourishment, family, and what it means to truly bring people together. That is not a small thing. That is everything. Now fast forward to right now, because Ayesha just gave the world a window into something personal and it's worth paying attention to. Her most recent Instagram post is a carousel of images from Jamaica, and from the very first photo, you already feel it. She's wearing this vivid yellow crocheted dress that looks like it was made from sunlight. Her smile in those pictures isn't a posed smile. It's not a brand smile. It's the kind of smile that happens when someone is standing somewhere that genuinely fills them up from the inside. In the caption, she wrote something that stopped a lot of people mid-scroll. She said, "Every day I wake up so grateful for my Jamaican heritage. The land, the people, the culture, the resilience, the love and the strength. It's Jamaica to DI world." And she ended it with 3 heart emojis in green, black, and yellow. The national colors of Jamaica. That wasn't accidental. That was intentional, layered, and meaningful in the way that Ayesha tends to be when she lets her guard down and speaks from a real place. And the photos themselves tell a story too. She didn't fill that carousel with luxury resort content or polished tourism imagery. She shared ackee fruit hanging from a tree, which if you know anything about Jamaican culture, you know that ackee is not just food. It is the national fruit of Jamaica. It shows up in the most beloved dish on the island, ackee and saltfish, which is the official national dish. When Ayesha photographs that tree, she isn't doing it for aesthetics. She's doing it because that fruit means something to her lineage. It connects her to something her mother's family has known for generations. She also shared pictures of local food served in the kind of casual, unpretentious settings that serious food lovers actually seek out. Not the fancy plated dishes designed for magazine covers. The real stuff. The kind of food that's been made the same way for decades, served without ceremony, and tasted better than anything you could ever find in a 5-star kitchen. That is the food that shaped Ayesha Curry's palate. That is the reason her cookbooks feel like they have a soul to them rather than just a list of ingredients. On top of the main post, She also shared Instagram story footage from the trip. Rolling hills, lush green fields stretching out under open sky. Jamaica in its quieter, more natural form, away from the beaches and the tourist trails. The kind of scenery that doesn't make it into the brochures but stays with you forever once you've seen it. There is something really meaningful about watching someone in Ayesha's position choose to use her platform this way. She has millions of people watching her at all times. She could post anything. She could lean into sponsorships, product placements, curated brand moments. And yes, she does all of that too, because she's a businesswoman and a smart one. But in this moment, she chose to post her roots. She chose to share the place that made her who she is. She chose to say out loud, with her full chest, that her Jamaican heritage is something she wakes up grateful for every single day. That kind of public gratitude toward your culture, your ancestry, your people, it matters. Especially when you have the reach that she has. Because somewhere right now, there is a young woman who also has Jamaican heritage, or Caribbean heritage, or a multicultural background that the world doesn't always make room for, and she is watching Ayesha Curry stand in that yellow dress on that island with that smile, and she is feeling seen. She is feeling like her roots are something to be proud of rather than something to explain or apologize for. And that is the part of Ayesha's story that gets overlooked in the headlines. Yes, she is Stephen Curry's wife. Yes, she is a celebrated cookbook author. Yes, she has built a business empire that most entrepreneurs only dream of. But underneath all of that, she is a woman who has never let go of where she comes from. She has threaded her heritage through everything she does. It shows up in how she cooks, in how she talks about family, in how she defines what success actually looks like on a personal level. Jamaica gave her the concept of warmth as a value system. It gave her the understanding that food is one of the most powerful forms of love. It gave her resilience as a birthright. And she has carried all of that forward into a life and a career that millions of people now look to for inspiration. So the next time someone introduces Ayesha Curry as Stephen Curry's wife, which they will, because that is just how the world tends to work, remember this. Remember the yellow dress. Remember the ackee tree. Remember the caption written in the rhythm of Jamaican dialect, proud and unfiltered. Remember the rolling green hills on a quiet story that only her most attentive followers probably caught. Remember that the most interesting thing about Ayesha Curry has always been who she is when she goes home. And right now, she is home. She is standing on the land of her people, grateful, rooted, and glowing. And honestly, that is the most powerful version of any person's story. Not where they ended up, but where they always knew they belonged.